Welcome to the T Danger Show. This is the pilot episode being done for my History of Psychology course, so I want to give a shout out to Dr. Moira Law at St. Mary's University for giving me the okay to do this as a project. Also, I want to give a big thanks to my track teammates Magnus Bilmer, Liam McCauley, and Nicolas Krisnar for the assist in its production, as it wouldn't be possible without them. So without further ado, I'm your host, Tristan Sutherland, and this is episode 1, featuring the fathers of Western philosophy, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Hope you enjoy. Welcome everybody to the T Danger Show. I'm Tristan Sutherland, and today in our pilot episode, we have something truly special. Today, we're bridging the gap between the ancient and the modern, bringing a voice from the past that has echoed through the ages, shaping the very foundation of Western philosophy. I'm beyond excited to introduce our guest today, someone whose name needs no introduction, but whose contributions to philosophy, ethics, and the art of questioning are unparalleled. Socrates. You heard that right, Socrates, the classical Greek philosopher, credited as one of the founders of Western philosophy itself. A man who lived in Athens during the 5th century BC, Socrates' work actually comes to us secondhand through the writings of his students, such as Plato, because he left no writings of his own. Socrates' method of inquiry, known as the Socratic method, involved asking a series of questions not just to draw individual answers, but to encourage deep critical thinking and to illuminate ideas. This method laid the groundwork for Western systems of logic and philosophy, and is still used in classrooms around the world today. But it isn't just his method of questioning that left a mark on history. Socrates' ideas on the importance of virtue, his belief in the immortality of the soul, and his commitment to ethics over societal norms have influenced countless thinkers, from Aristotle to the modern philosopher. His trial and subsequent execution for allegedly corrupting the youth of Athens and impiety to the gods of the city-state have been subjects of philosophical debate for centuries. Socrates' choice to accept his punishment, rather than flee Athens, speaks volumes about his character and his unwavering commitment to his principles. Today, we're diving deep into his mind to explore his philosophies, and maybe even challenge some of his ideas with the spirit of the Socratic method he himself championed. So without further ado, welcome Socrates to the T Danger Show. It's an honor to have you with us.
Thank you, Tristan. It is a pleasure to engage in dialogue with you and your listeners.
The pleasure is all ours. Let's dive right into it. So Socrates, your dialectical method has arguably laid the groundwork for psychology today. Considering your foundational role in critical thinking, I'd like to know how you yourself perceive this influence you've had on the development of psychology.
Well, my aim was always to challenge individuals to think deeply about virtue, justice, and the essence of a good life. If this has encouraged introspection and the questioning of one's own beliefs and behaviors, then I'm pleased to have been an influence. The reflective practices. This reflective practice is vital for understanding not only oneself, but also the broader human condition.
And how do you feel about the transition from philosophical dialogue to empirical science in understanding the mind?
This transition represents humanity's insatiable curiosity and its quest for concrete knowledge. While empirical science offers valuable insights into mechanics of the mind, the philosophical quest for the meaning and purpose, I believe, remains essential. Both approaches are necessary for a holistic understanding of human experience.
Moving to the present, what are your thoughts on the specialization within the field today, such as cognitive, behavioral, and social psychology?
The specialization is the testament to the complexity of the human mind and the diverse approaches required to understand it. Cognitive psychology explores the inner workings of the mind, much like my dialogues aim to uncover hidden beliefs. Behavioral psychology's focus on observable actions echoes the practice aspects of ethical living. Social psychology's examination of societal influence aligns with my observations on the polis and its impact on the individual. Each specialty adds a layer to our understanding, much like the layers of the soul I once pondered.
With technology now playing a significant role in our psychology today, especially with the advent of virtual reality and AI, what are your reflections on these tools?
What is AI? These advancements offer significant opportunity for learning and healing. Virtual reality, for instance, can simulate experiences that allow individuals to confront fears or rehearse challenging interactions, a form of experimental dialogue with oneself. AI is the AI is able to analyze patterns in behavior and thought, offering insights previously thought to be beyond human perception. Yet, we must wield these tools wisely, ensuring they serve to enhance, not to not detract from the quest for wisdom and self-understanding.
As we look to the future, what developments do you predict will have the most significant impact on psychology?
The integration of psychology with genetics and neuroscience will deepen our understanding of the biological underpinnings of behavior and mental processes. This knowledge has the potential to revolutionize, water break, treatments of mental illness, making them more personalized and effective, I guess. Furthermore, I foresee a resurgence of interest in philosophical aspects of psychology as individuals seek meaning in an increasingly complex world. The balance between scientific advancement and philosophical inquiry will be crucial.
And finally, how do you imagine the future of therapeutic practices?
Therapy will become holistic, integrating physical, mental, and societal health, I think. Techniques that promote self-awareness, such as mindfulness, combined with technological advances, will create more effective and accessible mental health care. Moreover, the stigma surrounding mental health will diminish, I hope, encouraging a culture where seeking help and engaging in self-reflection are seen as strengths and not weaknesses.
Okay. So, shifting gears a bit, I want to talk to you about the political polarization we see in today's world. Today, disagreements, even on such minor issues, seem to be able to tear friendships, relationships, and even families apart. Socrates, being known for your commitment to dialogue and the exploration of ethical living, how do you view this phenomena?
It's deeply, deeply troubling to observe the fabric of society diminish over differences in opinion. In my time, Athens too faced divisions, but the agora was a place of engagement, not avoidance. The essence of a democratic society lies in its ability to entertain a multitude of ideas, to discuss and debate them with respect and without personal animosity. It seems today's disagreements often forget this principle, focusing more on winning than understanding.
It's very insightful to hear these parallels drawn from ancient Greece, ancient Athens. Given your emphasis on your Socratic method, how do you think this approach would help address the issue of today's polarization?
The Socratic method is not merely a tool for debate, but for mutual understanding. By asking questions, we seek not to expose weaknesses in others' arguments, but to uncover the truth together. This method encourages humility, recognizing that no one has a monopoly on truth. In applying this to our current dilemmas, I suggest a return to genuine dialogue where the aim is to listen and understand, not merely to respond.
Okay. So considering this impact of minor disagreements, typically of political nature, on friendships and such, what advice would you give to those navigating these turbulent waters?
Friendship, like a healthy society, is built on mutual respect and understanding. It requires the ability to disagree with compassion, to challenge each other's ideas without challenging each other's worth. My advice is twofold. First, approach each discussion with the intent to learn something rather than to prove a point.
True.
Second, remember that the bond of friendship should transcend individual opinions. it is possible to maintain unity and diversity.
Okay. In times when division like this seems easier than unity, how can individuals cultivate a healthier approach to disagreement?
I believe it begins with self-examination. Ask yourself, why does this disagreement affect me so deeply? Often, it is not the issue itself, but what it represents. A fear, a value, a belief about the world. By understanding your own reactions, you become better equipped to engage with others in a constructive manner. Furthermore, cultivate the art of empathy. Strive to see the world from your friends' perspectives, recognizing the validity of their experiences and feelings.
So as we look towards healing these divisions, what role do you see for philosophy and even psychologists in mending this social fabric?
Well, I believe philosophy offers a tool for critical thinking and ethical living, guiding individuals towards a deeper understanding of themselves and their place within their community. Psychologists, on the other hand, can provide the means for addressing emotional and cognitive barriers to understanding. Together, they can promote a culture of dialogue, empathy, introspection, essential ingredients for some societal healing.
Okay, so wrapping up on this topic, Socrates, what final message would you like to leave our listeners on the topic of bridging the gap between our political polarization?
Well, not to get too deep here, but the strength of a society lies in its ability to hold space for difference, for debate, and for dissent, while maintaining respect for the dignity of each individual.
It is deep.
Remember, it is through our interactions, our dialogues, our relationships that we grow, not just as individuals, but as a collective. Cherish these opportunities, for they are pathways to wisdom and understanding.
A very powerful message. Your teachings have certainly given us much to ponder over, Socrates. Before we wrap up, I hear Plato coming into the studio here. Before we wrap up, I'd like to touch on a personal aspect of your life. Funny enough, your relationship with Plato here. He was your student, yet it's clear he held you in a high regard, immortalizing your dialogues. How do you reflect on your relationship with him?
Plato was more than a student to me. He was a dear friend and a brilliant mind. Our dialogues were not merely teacher to pupil, but meeting of souls in the pursuit of truth. He understood the heart of my teachings and carried them forward in his own way. It fills me with no small amount of pride to see how he has developed his own philosophical inquiries, building upon our discussions.
It's truly remarkable, the bond you shared. As he's coming into the studio here now, we're actually speaking with Plato himself in the next section of this podcast to bring another layer of depth to the discussion we've started here with you, Socrates.
That will be a conversation not to be missed. Plato has much to offer, especially in how he has intertwined our dialogues into his work. I look forward to hearing what insights he will share with you and your audience.
Great. So, Socrates, it's been an absolute honor to delve into these topics with you. Your wisdom transcends time, offering us guidance in navigating this complex world of ours. Thank you so much for joining us.
You know what? The pleasure was mine. Continue to seek wisdom, my friends, in all that you do.
Next up on the T Danger Show, we have Plato. Stick around. Welcome back to the T Danger Show. Next up, we have another one of the most crucial figures in the realm of philosophy. I'm thrilled, honored, and honestly a little starstruck to introduce our next guest, none other than Plato himself. For those who still might be brushing off the dust from their high school philosophy books, let me paint a picture for our guest. Plato, a student of Socrates and the teacher of Aristotle, carved the bedrock of Western philosophy and science. His works have transcended millennia, influencing countless areas of knowledge from ethics and epistemology to politics and education. Plato's dialogues have not only shaped the intellectual landscape of the Western world, but have also left an undeniable mark on how we perceive reality, virtue, and the very fabric of society. Through his famed academy, Plato laid the groundwork for what would become the Western educational system, emphasizing the importance of a well-rounded curriculum grounded in philosophical inquiry. But Plato's impact goes beyond the philosophical. His ideas about ideal forms, the nature of the soul, and the pursuit of the good life continue to resonate with millions today. His concept of the philosopher king has sparked debates on leadership and governance that persist in modern political discourse. So as we settle in for today's conversation with Plato, let us open our minds to the teachings of a philosopher whose thoughts have traversed through time, influencing how we understand the world and ourselves within it. Plato, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Welcome to the T Danger Show.
Thank you, Tristan. It is a privilege to join you and your listeners. In the pursuit of wisdom, it's conversation like these that will light the path for both the speaker and the listener. I look forward to our dialogue today.
Likewise. So, Plato, let's begin by discussing your concept of the ideal forms. What inspired this theory?
The world around us is but a shadow of the true reality. The ideal forms represent the highest and most fundamental form of reality, unseen by our eyes but perceived throughout the soul. This theory was inspired by the pursuit of true knowledge, which I believe is the essence of life itself.
Fascinating insights, Plato. The concept of ideal forms truly challenges us to think beyond the tangible world. So, shifting gears a bit already, let's delve into the advancements of today. Psychology, for example, has obviously evolved significantly since ancient times. Considering your influence on the foundation of Western thought, how do you see your work impacting the field of psychology today?
The human psyche was of great interest to me, even in my time. Our understanding of the soul structure, the rational, spirited, and appetitive parts, can be seen as an early blueprint for modern psychology's exploration of the mind. The quest to understand oneself, to harmonize the various parts of the soul, is related to the psychological journey many embark upon today. I'm both amazed and humbled by the depths to which humanity has explored the psyche. The methods and terminologies have evolved, and the essence remains, to know oneself. The advancements in understanding human behavior, cognition, and emotion are profound steps towards achieving a well-ordered soul, something I deeply advocated for.
Indeed, the parallels between your work and the objectives of psychology today are striking. How do you think your philosophy, especially the dialectical method, has influenced modern psychological practices?
The dialectical method, engaging in reasoned dialogue to uncover truths about the world and ourselves, resonates with therapeutic practices today. Psychotherapy often involves dialogues that help individuals confront their own thoughts and beliefs, leading to greater self-awareness and mental harmony. This process of questioning and self-examination is a testament to the enduring relevance of dialectic principles in healing the mind.
There you go. With psychology continuously evolving, how do you see your philosophies contributing to its future directions? And where do you think the journey of understanding the human mind and soul is actually headed?
As we advance, the integration of philosophical inquiry and psychological practice will become increasingly important. Understanding the human condition is not solely an empirical pursuit, but also a philosophical one. The future, I believe, lies in embracing both the empirical evidence of psychology and the philosophical exploration of existence, virtue, and happiness. This holistic approach will lead to deeper insights into the nature of the human mind and its place in the universe.
Your insights provide a reminder of the interconnectedness of philosophy and psychology. As we explore the vast landscape of the mind, your teachings continue to light the way. So, Plato, as we navigate through our conversation, touching upon the realms of philosophy, psychology, and the essence of human understandings, a pressing issue of our time, and one I'm quite passionate about addressing, comes up. The extreme political polarization affecting societies globally. It seems that now more than ever, disagreements, whether minor or significant, have the power to sever the bonds of friendships, relationships, and even families. From your own perspective, how does this societal fragmentation align with the philosophical ideals of harmony and dialogue?
This fragmentation you speak of is deeply troubling and contrary to the ideals of a just and harmonious society that I envisioned. In my republic, I have emphasized the importance of justice as harmony in the state and the soul. The current state of polarization, the discord it sows among kin and countrymen, is a reflection of a disharmonious soul projected onto society. Socrates, my teacher and dear friend, often engaged in dialogue with those of differing views, not with the aim to conquer an opponent, but to uncover truth through reasoned discourse. It is through such dialogues, though the dialectic method, that individuals can transcend their narrow perspectives, seeing beyond the shadows on the wall of the cave to the light of truth.
I appreciate your connection to the teachings of Socrates, Plato, as you just walked in on his section before this. That's okay. So in a world where dialogue often descends into debate and discord, how can we move towards a society where reasoned discourse leads to actual understanding with each other rather than division?
The key lies in education and the cultivation of virtues. A society that values wisdom, courage, moderation, and justice is one that can withstand the forces of polarization. Education should not merely impart knowledge, but also teach the art of dialogue, encouraging individuals to question, to listen, and to understand. It is through this understanding that empathy is nurtured, allowing for disagreements without disunity.
Such an approach demands a significant shift in our societal values and the ways in which we communicate. In your view, Plato, what immediate steps can individuals take to contribute to this shift, to foster an environment where unity is preserved despite our individual differences?
Well, it all begins with the individual. Each person must strive to embody the virtues that contribute to the harmony of the whole. This means engaging with others not as adversaries, but as fellow seekers of truth. It requires patience, humility, and the willingness to consider that one may be wrong. On a larger scale, leaders must also model these virtues, promoting policies and practices that encourage dialogue and understanding over division and conflict.
Plato, your insights today have not only illuminated the philosophical underpinnings of our modern challenges, but have also offered a beacon of hope for overcoming them. As we strive for a society where differences enrich people rather than divide us, your teachings remind us of the power of dialogue, virtue, and education in achieving harmony.
The pursuit of a just and harmonious society is an ongoing journey, one that requires the effort of every individual. I hope our discussion today inspire your listeners to reflect on their role in this journey and the legacy they wish to leave for future generations.
Plato, to wrap this up, as we've navigated through topics of deep philosophical and societal importance, your references to Socrates have sparked my curiosity about your personal relationship with strong minds like his. Could you share a bit more about your relationship with Socrates and, even to a greater extent, Aristotle?
Socrates. Socrates was not only my teacher, but also a dear friend and a guiding light in my pursuit of wisdom. Our relationship was rooted in deep respect and admiration for his commitment to seeking truth and challenging assumptions. It was Socrates who showed me the power of questioning, the heart of the dialectic method, and the importance of living a virtuous life. His execution was a profound loss, not only to me, but to all of Athens, and indeed to the pursuit of philosophy. Aristotle, on the other hand, was my student at the academy, and our relationship was quite different. He was exceptionally brilliant, with a keen intellect that questioned everything, including my own teachings. Aristotle approached this philosophy and science diverged from the ideals I had held closely, favoring empirical observation of the natural world over the forms and ideals I emphasized. Despite these differences, I deeply respected Aristotle's intellect and his contributions to what would become a vast expanse of knowledge and inquiry.
It's fascinating to hear about these relationships from your perspective and even the perspectives of others. The dynamic between mentor and mentee, or rather teacher and student, seems to deeply influence the philosophical landscape. How do you view the evolution of your own ideas in the context of these relationships?
Every philosopher stands on the shoulders of those who came before, and in turn provides the foundation for those who follow. My relationship with Socrates imbued me with a profound sense of philosophical purpose, a torch I endeavored to carry forward. In teaching Aristotle, I saw the future of philosophical inquiry, bringing with potential, yet diverging from the path I had envisioned. These relationships, marked by both continuity and change, reflect the dynamic and evolving nature of philosophy itself. They remind us that wisdom is not static, but a living dialogue across generations.
Plato, your reflections offer a great glimpse into the interconnectedness of ideas, the evolution of thought, and the personal bonds that shape the course of history. Your teachings, alongside those of Socrates and Aristotle and the like, continue to inspire and challenge us. Thank you so much for sharing these personal insights into your relationships with these quite legendary figures.
The dialogue between past and present, teacher and student, is the essence of philosophical growth. I am grateful for the opportunity to share these reflections with you and your listeners. May we all continue to learn from each other in the pursuit of truth and wisdom.
Plato, thank you so much for your time here on the T Danger Show.
Happy to be here, Tristan. Thank you for having me.
Wrapping up this episode of the T Danger Show, we have Aristotle coming up in the next section. Get there. Welcome back to today's final section of this episode of the T Danger Show. Throughout history, few names have left such a significant mark on philosophy, science, and ethics, quite like our guests we've had on today. Our final guest we have is on another towering figure of ancient Greek philosophy, a student of Plato, and a teacher to Alexander the Great. His works have become foundational to Western thought. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome Aristotle to the T Danger Show. Aristotle, it's truly an honor to have you on with us today. How are you finding the journey from ancient Greece to the 21st century podcast studio?
Thank you, Tristan. The journey through time is quite fascinating. Observing the evolution of ideas and how they shaped your world is intriguing. It's a testament to the enduring nature of philosophical inquiry.
Absolutely, and your contributions have indeed been timeless. From your ethics to your logic and your observations of the natural world, you've influenced countless aspects of modern thought. What's it like seeing your ideas live on throughout the centuries?
It's both humbling and enlightening. Ideas are the seeds of progress, and seeing them grow and adapt over time reassures me of humanity's insatiable quest for knowledge and understanding.
As we dive deeper into our conversation today, we'll explore not just Aristotle here's works, but also his views on contemporary issues through a lens that only he's able to provide. So, Aristotle, it's impossible to overlook the monumental strides humanity has made in understanding the human mind. Psychology, a field that might seem distant from the natural philosophy of your time, has evolved in ways that even the most visionary thinkers of the past, such as yourself, might find astonishing. Aristotle, considering your extensive work on the psyche, which laid the groundwork for future explorations into human behavior and cognition, how do you view the advancements in psychology since your time?
It's a fascinating evolution, Tristan. In my time, we approached the study of the psyche through observation and philosophical reasoning, attempting to understand human behavior and the functions of the mind as a part of the broader natural world. To see it develop into a science with methodologies for studying consciousness, behavior, and mental processes is both impressive and inspiring.
Your works, particularly on ethics and the nature of happiness, seem to echo through the corridors of psychological thought even today. Do you see a part of your philosophy in the foundations of modern psychology?
Indeed, I believe so. The question to understand the factors that contribute to well-lived life is central theme in both my work and in contemporary psychology. The exploration of virtues, character, and the good life can be seen in positive psychology movement, which seeks to understand what makes life most worth living.
And with the advent of cognitive psychology, neuroscience, and even artificial intelligence, how do you think your initial inquiries into the human mind will continue to evolve?
These advancements are the natural progress of human curiosity and intellect. My initial inquiries sought to categorize and understand the mind's processes, and these modern fields push the boundaries of that understanding, exploring the very fabric of cognition and behavior. It's a testament to the human spirit's unending desire for knowledge. The potential for these fields to further unravel the mysteries of the mind and improve human well-being is immense.
Your insight into the human condition has indeed laid a philosophical foundation that continues to influence not just psychology, but many facets of modern science and ethics. Now, shifting gears a bit here, like we've discussed with our previous guests, one of the most pressing issues we face today is the deepening political polarization we see in our societies. It seems that now, more than ever, that relationships, such as families, friendships, etc., are being strained or shattered by disagreements over what once might have been considered minor issues. Aristotle, your mentor Socrates, was famously engaged in dialogues that challenged the views of his contemporaries. I say mentor Socrates, I mean how he mentored your mentor, but nonetheless. Reflecting on his approach and your own philosophies, how do you perceive the current state of sociocultural and political polarization?
In my view, the root of much of your contemporary polarization lies in the abandonment of dialectic and rhetoric aimed at seeking truth and understanding. Instead, there appears to be a gravitation towards argumentation for victory over one's opponent, rather than enlightenment or resolution.
Insightful observation. In a world dominated by social media and sound bites of today and TikToks, what have you not, we seem to have lost the art of dialogue that you and Socrates championed. How do you think we can apply your philosophical principles to heal these divisions?
The first step is recognizing the inherent value in differing perspectives. In my ethics, I discuss the importance of virtues and the mean between extremes. Applying this, your societies might benefit from fostering a culture of moderation and respect for the middle ground, where dialogue and compromise are seen as strengths rather than weaknesses. Moreover, education should strive not just for knowledge, but for cultivation of character and the ability to engage respectfully with others. It is through such engagement that individuals can learn to see beyond their own viewpoints, appreciating the complex tapestry of human experience and thought. The fabric of society is strongest when it is woven with the threads of community and shared values. While it's natural for humans to disagree, the focus should be on the common good and working towards a society where prospering is possible for everybody. It requires both individual and collective effort to prioritize understanding, empathy, and the willingness to listen.
Moving forward, Aristotle, could you share with us your reflections on the influence of Socrates on your work, and even more significantly, your relationship and influences on your work from Plato?
While I never met Socrates directly, his legacy was constant presence in my education and philosophical development. Through Plato, I came to know Socrates as a quintessential figure of inquiry in dialect, a man who dared to question the assumed truths of the time. His method of examining concepts critically informed my own approach to philosophy, even as I carved my own path. Plato, on the other hand, was not just my mentor, but a significant influence on my thought. Our relationship was one of deep respect and intellectual engagement, even when our philosophical views diverged. In the academy, Plato's dialogues opened up new realms of inquiry for me, pushing me to think beyond the physical world to the realm of forms and ideas. Yet it was in the divergence of our ideas, especially on the forms and the empirics of natural world, where I found my own philosophical voice.
It's clear that the legacy of Socrates, and especially your interactions with Plato, played crucial roles in shaping your philosophical identity. Would you say that these relationships underscored the importance of dialogue and debate in the pursuit of truth? Jeez.
Absolutely, Tristan. The dialogues of Plato and the philosophical inheritance from Socrates exemplified the vitality of questioning and debate. They taught me that through rigorous examination and open discourse, we refine our understanding of the world and ourselves. It is in this tradition that I sought to contribute to the vast tapestry of knowledge.
Aristotle's journey underscores the enduring value of philosophical mentorship and the dynamic interplay of ideas that shapes our understanding of the world. Aristotle, thank you for providing us with a window into your relationships with these quite monumental figures in philosophy. Wrapping things up here, Aristotle, it's been a pleasure having you on, engaging with your insights and understanding the depth of your contributions to both philosophy and psychology. I appreciate your insights on the contemporary world and your reflection on your relationships with Socrates and Plato. Thank you so much, Aristotle, for joining us on the T Danger Show.
Thank you for having me, Tristan. It's been a pleasure.
And with that, we draw this episode to a close, having had the unparalleled opportunity to converse with Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. We've reflected on the foundational landscape of Western philosophy. Each philosopher, with his unique perspective, has offered us insight into not just the nature of knowledge and reality, but also into the timeless importance of dialogue and the pursuit of truth. In today's world, where we often find ourselves divided by differences, the lessons from these great minds are more relevant than ever. They remind us that it's through questioning, understanding, and engaging with one another that we can hope to find common ground and build a more harmonious society. As we reflect on the rich ideas woven through our discussions, let's take forward the spirit of inquiry and the commitment to intellectual growth that Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle have championed. May their philosophies inspire you to seek your own truths, to engage in meaningful dialogues, and to contribute to the ever-evolving quest for knowledge and understanding. This has been episode 1 of the T Danger Show, and this is your host, Tristan Sutherland, signing off. Thank you so much for joining us today. Until next time.